A lot of the rhetoric that's coming out of this oil spill has to do with, again, the same tired old false dichotomy. Economy versus the environment. Regulation versus you're passing on costs to consumers. Where's the corporate accountability, and why don't more voters insist on it? And how is the Obama administration managing this war of words on the oil spill? You know, Jake Tapper asks on ABC's This Week if Obama is too trusting of BP. Now, you know, to me, Nicole, this indicates that, Jake Tapper is sort of insinuating that Obama is naive. And this kind of thing came up during the campaign. Because he was young, dynamic, positive, and wanted to work with people who didn't necessarily agree with him about everything, people wanted to call him naive. And I don't care whether you're attributing this to dealing with, a rogue nation and their leadership, like Iran, or, people were afraid he was going to talk to people that, we really don't agree with, or people in our own country who have anything but Obama or the Democrats, or even sometimes the nation's ultimate, interest in mind. What do you think about this business of trying to paint Obama as too trusting? And I don't even know if Jake Tapper realized what he was saying, but to me, words mean something.
Well, words do mean something, but the reason why we have these dichotomies that you talk about, the environment versus the economy, is because people want things simple. They want things dumbed down. You watch the news and you get these little sound bites and people want it synthesized, and should I vote for A or for B, as if they're so clearly disparate. So that's why we have this rhetoric and this war of words.
But is it really fair to attribute naivete and being too trusting to somebody who actually wants to be conciliatory, work with people, and move things forward? I mean, Tony, what do you think about that? I mean, you're young. You must have been accused of being naive once in a while.
Well, it still happens to this day. I mean, I can tell you that, I don't see the president as being too trusting. I think he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's a very good speaker, as we all know. He may have painted himself as a guy who trusts, who might be too trusting, but I think he's doing the best that he can, yeah, I mean, that's what I have to say with respect to that.
Well, you're interested in the economy. We know how you feel about economics. One thing that I've noticed a lot with this oil spill is, yet again, and this is the GOP. Now, this is not my daddy's Republican Party. When my daddy's Republican Party, everything wasn't black or white. There were Republicans that actually worked with Democrats more regularly to get stuff done. And it wasn't this extremist, what I consider to be kind of extremist thinking in the favor of really trying to absolve corporations completely of accountability. But it's this business of, economics versus the environment. And we have Haley Barbour, who is the GOP governor of Mississippi, sort of spinning this tragedy. He says that, Mississippi, there's no problem. We don't have any oil yet. And, the media is hurting our tourist industry by scaring people about it.
Right. Come up to Mississippi. Yeah. She sells tar balls by the seashore.
Haley Barbour's like, there's no problem here. And I want to say, dude, there's going to be a problem right quick. Just wait a minute. It's coming to a town near you. The economy versus the environment, they don't have to be on a collision course, do they? I mean, can we have...
Well, here's the thing. I mean,
both?
There's, I've studied a lot about communications, linguistics, propaganda influence over the years, and even have a background in hypnosis. And the sort of argument that I see, a lot of times in the news, it's either this or this, and people are convinced it's this or this, but they never look at the other options. So, economy versus environment, they can't be dichotomous necessarily. We've seen improvements not only in the economy over the last 100 years. We've grown a lot as a country, but we've also seen improvements in terms of how companies take care of the environment as well. I mean, part of it is government regulation, but a part of it is that companies have a vested interest in protecting natural resources so that they can grow them again.
All right. I want to stop you right there because you made a statement that I don't think we can really attribute that to BP whatsoever. Ken, what do you think about that? I mean, what we have is we have the BP apologists on one hand, the people who are like, they actually want to criticize BP even though they're pro-deregulation. Yeah. Now they suddenly want to criticize BP. Now suddenly they want the Obama administration to be riding BP on this stuff. But they don't want to give up, they want to have their oil and eat it too. Or, well, they won't eat it.
Well, I'm shocked to see that attitude in America. You mean...
Are you?
You mean, right, life, liberty, cheap gasoline, and the pursuit of happiness.
we don't want to sacrifice anything to get anything. We're not whiners. Who said whiners?
Are you saying Americans are whiners?
No, most Americans spend about 20 minutes a year thinking about these issues, and they resent the intrusion. They're trying to get the food on the table, they're going to have their weekend time. I mean, we elect people, good people like Obama and his people, and good people in previous administrations of both parties, to do the job. And they get in there and they find out, oh my God, there's a whole bureaucracy here. And those who always say term limits is the answer, that gives more power to the bureaucracy and the lobbyists.
But don't they get in there? Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Example, right here, the Mineral Mining Office.
Minerals Management Service.
The Mineral Mismanagement Service,
Okay,
yes.
let's call it like it is.
But BP is BP is the second largest corporation in the world. It had $26 billion profits in the first quarter, and
Right,
they
with
weren't
that
going to
kind of
spend
profit-
$500,000.
Yeah,
for,
why wouldn't you spend $500,000
For a
on
widget.
this?
Yeah.
this
Wait a second. The acoustic trigger, I've done the
Thank you.
research on this acoustic
Thank
trigger
you.
technology.
This acoustic trigger, which is supposed to clamp down.
First off, it's not necessarily a reliable technology, and if it did work, some of the estimates says that it only would have bought us a few days of time.
Okay, yeah.
But here's the thing, the crew workers on the rig, they actually triggered the blowout preventer. And so even if that was in place, but even that didn't work. So there's technology there, but the acoustic trigger works on sound waves, and you're talking about working with sound waves underwater. So you have stuff in the way, you have oil plumes, you have fish.
And probably
So
the
it's not-
depth didn't help either.
No, at that depth, no. But I mean, I think it would have been responsible to put it in there, but I'm saying that there's no guarantee that it would have worked.
It wasn't fail-safe.